Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 15th of December 2022, and I've just watched the Andrew Bridgen speech in the UK Parliament that happened a couple of nights ago on the 13th in full. You might recall I talked about him a little bit yesterday, but I hadn't really seen the actual speech in full at that stage, but I did it over breakfast, and I'll leave a link to it, by the way, in the description box and the comment section below. The Rotten Politics YouTube guy had his speech in full, and Rotten Politics himself just topped and tailed it a little bit. About 60 seconds either end of it, but the vast majority of the video is Andrew Bridgen speaking in Parliament, and boy oh boy does he, well, he doesn't hold back, we'll put it that way. Everything's there in his speech. The harms being done by the treatment, the cover-ups by mainstream media, including the BBC, and he also mentions how it's not exactly a new thing with the BBC. He mentions how they covered up Jimmy Savile and all that kind of thing, and other things as well. And then he goes on to the conflicts of interests, how the governing bodies who are supposed to look into the safety of these things, how they're compromised, and how things are being covered up by sort of no less than the British Heart Foundation and senior people within that. It's all there, and a lot of the other stuff to do with the concerns that we've had for so long, for 2 years plus, about these things. The lack of informed consent, the lack of proper, true data that people can make decisions on. He also talks about how these things are totally unnecessary for younger people, and he just can't understand the latest decision by the authorities to allow people as young as 6 months to get these things, when the safety data is so highly questionable now. So wherever you are in the world, you can take heart that there are now people standing up, MPs standing up in the Houses of Parliament here in the UK, speaking out about this, and that is a good thing, and it's well worth sharing with your sort of mainstream friends, because okay, it's not quite as good as the man on the BBC standing up and coming out with that sort of stuff, but it's the next best thing. You can say, well, look, this is an MP in Parliament saying what I've been saying for the last 2 years, so it may well be a really good one to share over the Christmas period. So please feel free to share the video. Like I say, it will be in the description box and the comments section below, so well worth watching. And a couple of other interesting points. He was interrupted a few times by other MPs, including I think 1 or maybe 2 from opposition parties, and they weren't having a go at him, they weren't calling him out or anything. They were respectful and supportive. So there are a few others in there, not many. You'll see from the footage during his speech that the House is very, very empty. It should have been, on this matter, it should have been full, or at least half, 2/3 full. So that just goes to show that there's so many of these MPs who, I don't know, they either just don't care about this issue, which doesn't say a lot about them, or even worse, they're part of the conflicts of interest problem that Andrew Bridgen talks about. So who knows? So a bit earlier this week I came across a really good video from a guy who I've got no idea who he is. I don't think I've seen him before, but he was clearly standing in a park probably in London somewhere, and he was taking the proverbial, shall we say, being slightly sarcastic. Now, because I can't find, or probably won't be able to find, his video, what I'll do is I'll do my own version of what he did. And, well, as they say, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So I'm going to get out of the van here now and try and replicate what he did. So I'm just standing outside so I can show you all of the evidence of the global warming, the terrible global warming that is happening here in the UK right now. There it is. It's the evidence is right there, right in front of you, right now. And how can you ignore it? How? You know, there it is. The global warming. It's terrible. And how are we ever going to get over it? I'm just lost for words. Just look at the evidence. There it is. And if that's not enough evidence of global warming, take a look at the thermometer reading on my van here. One moment it was this, and then next time I looked, it had gone up to, well, it had risen dreadfully up to this figure here, look. And if that's not global warming, I don't know what is. Well, actually what it could be is because the second figure was slightly later in the day, and when the sun was shining, so it might be to do with that, but probably more to do with global warming. So I thought I'd just finish off today's little collage of separate videos with a few memes. They're all based on basically how corrupt modern society is, and I'll show you these memes and make a few comments on each one. Yeah, when you look at it like that, it really puts it into sharp focus, doesn't it? I don't think they would be doing these meetings for our benefit. It seems very implausible, doesn't it? How true is this one? It really isn't what you think it is. And it is really basically about thinking for yourself. The only trouble with that is by doing that or taking that course of action, you'll be opening yourself up to all sorts of name calling, conspiracy theorists being one of the leading ones. Yeah, again, really the meme says it all. And another one, this is fantastic, isn't it? Because after all, do you really want to fit in with modern society as it is, with how corrupt it is, how ridiculous it is? So yeah, homeschooling wins for me every time. Yeah, so that's about the size of it, isn't it, really? Hope you like those memes, and I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.